Welcome, crew. Thanks for tuning in. Spreadsheet Geek here. I haven't given many independent practice activities that students should be able to do pretty much on their own, but this one fits that bill. I'll be dropping a few more similar assignments in the next week or two, so subscribe if you'd like to know about those as soon as they are available. This one's called Noah's Petting Zoo. I'd typically give this as one that students can try on their own after they've already had some exposure to entering formulas and using summary functions like max, min, average, and sum. If you check out the description, the directions sheet is linked there. Feel free to modify it if you need to. There's a picture of the raw data in the directions, so students should be able to work from that. If you'd like them to enter the raw data, it should take about 30 minutes if you do have them enter the data. If you'd like to save some time, I've included a link to the spreadsheet with raw data, so you could distribute that, and it would cut the time in half probably. If there's anything that you don't know how to do from the directions, or if your students run into any trouble, I'll go over all those steps next. All right, so the first thing we need to do is figure out how many of each creature we're going to have at the end of the year. So this is a formula that is just equal to the current quantity plus how many we expect to be born minus the expected deaths. So for frogs, it's equals B4 plus C4 minus D4. If we hit enter, we should get 22. It's going to suggest an autofill, which I don't really want it to extend down all that way necessarily, so I'm going to decline this. But I am going to take the one that I've done correctly and grab the fill handle and fill it down for the rest of the creatures. To do the total, we're going to use the sum function and highlight the data above it. So that's the sum of cells B4 through B11. So we have a total of 107 creatures. I do not want to autofill that. The highest, typo there. The highest, I'm going to use the max function, and I'm going to highlight the creatures in cells B4 through B11 and hit enter. The lowest, I'm going to use the min function with the same range, B4 through B11, and hit enter. And for the average, I'm going to take the average of cells B4 through B11. So now all four of these functions are using B4 through B11 to find the sum, max, min, and average. They all work for this column. I can take these four and I can use fill right and drag all four all the way through column E. Zoom out a little bit. Then I've got some other random statistics at the bottom. How many birds do we have? To do that, I'm going to do a formula that is equal chickens. So that's cell B5 plus ostriches. And that's it for birds. I'm going to hit enter. So that's 14. I'm not going to autofill that. How many amphibians do I have? That's equals. Frogs are amphibians, and so are salamanders. And I'm going to hit enter. How many marsupials? Marsupials have a pouch. That's equals. Kangaroos are marsupials, and so are koalas. B9 plus B11, hit enter. And four-legged creatures. Frogs have 4 legs. Cats have 4 legs. Dogs have 4 legs. Salamanders have 4 legs. Koalas, geez, you can do what you want with this, but I'm going to include them in the 4-legged creatures. And 2-legged creatures, I'm going to add my chickens plus my ostriches plus my kangaroos and hit enter. So that's all your functions and formulas. So all the math is done at this point in time. Then we just have to make it look good. I would highlight cells A1 through E1. I'm going to merge those together. We will bump our font size up a little bit here. If you wanted to change your style to something more interesting, feel free. I'm going to center that. Same thing for inventory of creatures. I'm going to do a merge. I'm going to center that. I'm going to bump my font size up a little bit. I'm going to go with that same style that I just used. This data in these column headers in row 3. For row 3, one thing we can do, we can just turn on word wrap. So you go to format, wrapping, and we can do a wrap. We could center that, maybe make it bold, maybe bump it up one font size. I could put a border under the bottom of it to help separate it from the main data. So we'll do a bottom border. Probably put a bottom border beneath the koalas row here in row 11 to help separate that from the summary data. If you want to add some color, you might work with this top section and you could use fill color. Pick something there. Summary data, since you have some summary data, sometimes it's helpful to make that bold to indicate it's not raw data like the rest. We're showing 3 decimal places down here. That maybe is more than we need for this, so I might decrease that down to maybe just 1 decimal place. So that's pretty much it. If you wanted to do a pie chart, the pie chart would be of the current of all the animals, what percentage is each animal. So I would highlight cells A3 through B11 in this case, and I would insert a chart. And we can pick our type here. There's a pie chart, which shows you that cats are the biggest chunk of that pie, or the biggest percentage of the population, followed by dogs and a smattering of other things. So that's kind of the completed project. Looks pretty good. Got some good summary stats. Did some formulas to calculate these stats at the bottom. Did a formula to calculate how many we expect to have at the end of the year. So that pretty much covers how to complete that assignment. I hope that's something that you can use in your classroom. Good luck with it. Thanks for tuning in.